What's up everyone, thanks for tuning in. So today's a little bit of mix of a how-to as well as a vlog in regards to my 91 DA9 Integra. Pretty much made my decision on where I want to go with that car, and I'm going to discuss it with you in this video, as well as show you how to go about deleting the factory sunroof if you have one equipped. So I want to apologize if any of this stuff seems kind of out of order. Like, I'm going to do my best in editing to make it to where it all makes sense. But this is going to be a mixture of me going through how to remove the factory sunroof out of a DA9 Integra, or DA Integra chassis if you guys have one equipped, and my process and how I went about it and my planning for it, as well as like a vlog in regards to the DA9 Integra. I'm going to start going back through my previous videos that isn't really like how-tos or whatever, and just kind of like number them. It's just in order, just for you guys that like find whatever I'm doing interesting. It will kind of help keep in track what I'm doing in regards to whether it's the Accord or the Integra or the Civic or whatever. If you guys enjoy all that stuff, and not a how-to video that makes any sense. So anyway, the DA is going to be a drag car, and the premises that I'm going to put on it is going to be specifically a street drag car, or a street class drag car, which basically means I basically want it to look like a car and not fully gutted, not crazy, aero. Basically, like, it looks like a race car, but it's not going to be a full out looking on a race car. And that's just for the plan now, and possibly for, depending on how everything works out. It will eventually maybe become full blown race car. Maybe, who knows? I may change my mind. But the plan is, in around October, there's going to be a local 8th mile drag race event going on in my town, and I want to get the car done up and ready by then. And the plan is right now is to basically boost it. It's a stock B20 with a, I don't know, I thought it was a B16 trans, but I'm pretty sure, for sure it's an LS stamp trans. If it is, it has a 4.4 final drive, but I'm telling you, like, these gears, like, they're like super short. So for what I know, they might be B17 gears from a previous owner. I don't even know. It's a small spleen stuff. So I'm still learning about the whole small and large spleen B series stuff when I was looking for a clutch to get for this build. So as of right now, all I'm doing is just basic, easy, cheap stuff that I can do right now. So the start of this is just me doing weight reduction that is going to keep me in the class that I want to race in, as well as not totally deform the car from not looking like its stock self. Okay, so here you see is everything that I've taken out of the DA, and if you were to look at the DA right now, it would still look pretty much stock, basically like how I got it at least. So if I'm trying to go off memory, so this is everything I took off the car, and we'll be focusing more on the whole sunroof stuff and my plans on doing all that stuff. So everything in this crate you see here is power steering, everything that goes to the power steering. So the power steering, pump, hoses, belt, the brackets, the hardware, as well as all the AC stuff. You see the condenser, the lines, brackets, condenser, compressor, all that crazy stuff. So the way I weighed these things, I know there's multiple ways of weighing it. I don't really like just putting the material on a scale and getting the measurement like that. I feel that you will not get a full reading on it just because of how much surface area you would be putting on the scale itself. So the way I did it, which I'm not saying is the right way, is the way I do it, I feel would be more accurate, is I would actually stand on the scale myself up 3 times to get, if I get the same total 3 numbers, and at least I know it's an accurate reading all 3 times, then I will grab this material, hold it as close as I can on my body, and do weigh myself another 3 times with me carrying one of these parts you see here. And that's pretty much where I got the weight from. So if you guys go on the internet or you hear anybody say anything otherwise or whatever, I'm sure they weighed it in a certain way to where they got a different reading, or maybe their scales is calibrated differently, but I'm telling you that's how I did it. Again, I'm not saying that's the right way, that's just how I did it. So I'm going off memory. The condenser weighed 9 pounds. Everything in this box weighed approximately about 50 pounds. So like 50.7 or whatever, or 49.8 or whatever. Because there was some stuff I put in later, like the wiper. Oh, sorry, that's another thing that's in this thing. The rear wiper motor and wiper arm and everything that goes to the rear wiper to the trunk. So that was like about, the motor itself weighed like, I think 3 or 4 pounds. And here's the spare tire. This thing weighed 9 pounds. rear bash bar. That thing weighed about, if I remember correctly, I think it was like 25.8 to like 26 pounds. And then the sunroof assembly with glass weighed about 32.8 pounds. Now, here's the thing. The glass isn't on here. I am going to be actually finding a way to mount the glass only to the car to make it still look stock from the outside and even from the inside. I have an idea and I'll show you guys how I'm gonna go about it, and hopefully it works out. Okay, headliner's out of the way as well as some of the side trims. So here's the actual sunroof unit. This whole black part, motor's back there. Okay, so to be able to take this whole unit down, it's gonna be a bolt here, 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 and same thing and then for the back. One there, here, and then back there. And make sure to, there's going to be 4 of these, 1 on each corner, 2 up front. Just take this clip, just yank on it, and it just pops right out. So this is all the drainage, so like if it rains or whatever and the water gets in, it'll get drained out into here. And depending where you live, if you have heavy rain, you'll start developing rust and corrosion like you see here. But this actually isn't that bad, like there's nothing up front here. Or actually, just the rear. The rears it pretty much only has any sort of signs of corrosion, so sorry about that. But yeah, so I'm going to proceed to loosen these up, and then the big challenge is going to be lowering this thing without it killing me. So this thing already tried to kill me, so I put this post up here to hold the front right there. So if you guys have, you know, an extra pole or dowel just laying around, I suggest doing something like this just so it doesn't just come down and try to kill you. And like that was after like 2 or 3 bolt removal up front. So I'm going to do the rear ones last just because there's more surface area to grab onto once this thing finally goes. So all right, moving on. All right, and another thing too, guys, before you actually go on and take this off, make sure any like wires that are clipped on to the actual sunroof assembly, make sure these are off, so like when you're lowering it down, you're not going to get snagged up or caught up on anything. And so yeah, right now the way I have it set up is I have the rear seats folded down, both seats fully pushed forward, reclined. Just I figured if this whole unit comes down, I can use it to sit on this. I got the panels or whatever, side panels clipped, just so when it comes down it doesn't like tear it off and hopefully not crack or damage or break them. And then the plan is just hold it up here, let it sit on here, and then just hopefully just slide it back on out towards the trunk. All right, so I'm gonna try to lower this assembly without getting hurt or dying. But if it falls on me, well, at least there'll be some entertainment value for you guys. Hole's actually holding this thing a lot better than I thought it would. Perfect, worked out the way I want it. Ta-da! Oh, Jesus! This thing's a lot heavier than I thought it'd be. And she's out. I said before, if all you need to do is replace the sunroof glass itself, you guys don't actually have to take out this whole housing. I want to apologize for the background noise. So to be able to take this out, from what I've read, I've never actually done this before, but I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory. So you're going to have a Allen screw, one there and then one adjacent to it. I already took this one out. You guys can see where it used to be. Right here. Make sure you use the right one just so in case you don't strip this out, or else it's going to suck whether you have this unit out or not. And from what I understand is you just unscrew these things and then it just slides off. So I'm gonna proceed to go do that now, and hopefully this works. Before I do this, so both sides are already unscrewed. It just slides off this way like that. The same thing on the other end. So I'm gonna do that right now. It's gonna be hard to record and do it at the same time. All right, it's pretty easy. So let's see here, yeah, right here, that clip right here on both ends just slides. So I'm gonna get this to focus. Yeah, it just slides in here. So I just worked out one side and then just like wiggled out the other side, and they just slid right out. So super simple. And then these are the mounting points right here for the Allen screws. Yeah, so super simple. That's what you need to look for if this unit is still in your car. Okay, so today's actually the second day. So what I originally had planned was to follow the traditional route and just cover it up from up top using some sheet metal. But I really personally don't like the look of that. It just looks really tacky to me. I mean, I understand it works. I understand, you know, when building a race car, it doesn't really need to look pretty. It just needs to work. But I really want to balance it out, function and form as much as I can. So I tried to figure out ways of how I could mount it, maybe using brackets to like put up here to where it looks really flush to the roof. And I even thought about just going the traditional route and just riveting it in on top, and then just having my buddies at the body shop hopefully like blend it to the roof to where it's just one solid piece. But that just seemed like way too much work for what it's worth to me. I mean, I'm sure it can be done. So the idea that actually Monkey Mike actually stopped by his place yesterday, and he suggested putting the actual glass of the sunroof, you know, just pop it from underneath, pop it in, make it look like it was original but minus the entire housing. And that glass itself weighs about somewhere, I want to say like maybe 7 to 10 pounds. I mean, nothing too crazy that I'm worrying about. And as I said, there's still a lot of other stuff on this car that's going to be, you know, weight loss anyway, so I'll probably just compensate for that. So I'm not really too worried about that. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to show you the idea that him and I came up with. So here it is. So the cool thing is that there's two brackets, one here and then two on the other side as well for the assembly. So what we came up with was we're figuring out how we can put the sunroof up through here, look like it's stock from the outside, but then make a bracket that utilizes these mounting tabs right here to hold it in place. Now what I came up with was getting this square aluminum tubing, and what I'm going to do is just do it like so. And even honestly, if it sits too low to where it doesn't sit flush up against, where it doesn't push the actual glass assembly up through there, what I'm planning on doing is, I'll show you guys when I actually do it, be like maybe just cut off the top sections here and make just one flat piece, the actual mounting to that, and to where the rest of this material can actually help push up against towards the glass. So hopefully that works out. And the only negative consequence I can see from this is maybe like excess vibration noise. Hopefully not. And yeah, you guys are probably thinking too, like, oh well, if it ever rains or whatever, they're definitely for sure gonna leak. Well, yeah, but I mean, after this point, I'm probably never going to drive this car other than weather like this ever again. Okay, so don't mind the dirty bench. So this is basically how I did it, with a grinding wheel. I did it on both ends and cleaned off all the jagged edges with a file. Now I'm going to go put it up against the mounts, see how much this goes through, if it touches the actual roof or not, and then I'm going to continue on and drilling holes for it. Okay, so it worked out as I wanted to. So where's that mounting thing? There, and then it works for the rear one as well. So now all I got to do is drill out some holes so I can be able to mount this on here. Now the way I do it, if you guys have a better suggestion, let me know. But I've been doing this throughout the years, and it seems to work pretty dang good, or at least gets me in the area that I want to be. To mark holes, I'll usually get like a dab of anti-seize, believe it or not. I'll actually just paint this area right here. You don't really need a whole bunch. It's not a super accurate method, but actually, what I should do, I'll do it like this. do. Okay, drop it down. So it's not the most accurate, but at least it gives me like a general idea where I need to go to, and most times it works out. So the screws I'm gonna be using, it's gonna be the factory one, so they already have the washers and stuff, so it'll grab onto enough material to keep it in there. Okay, so everything worked out, everything fit, everything works. In fact, I was even able to hold the glass with one bar, believe it or not, on the rear. So one little thing I had to do was I had to do this little notch right here. I know it looks really terrible, but I haven't cut this off yet because I might have to use excess material right here. And basically this thing works so good that it actually pushed the front of it up a little bit higher, so I want it to be more flush downward. So I'm doing this, so I'll show you what I mean. There's these little like mounts, or where the sunroof used to slide on the rails. That little part sits on this, which pushes the whole thing up like this. So I want it more flushed with the roof. So I'm doing this to notch it down so it can sit flat. And I haven't cut these down yet because if it goes too far in, I want to use this excess material to fold in and kind of use it to like cushion up, to like raise it and stuff like that. If that doesn't work, then I'll figure something else out, but hopefully this should work. And the sunroof is in. I did a really terrible vinyl wrap job on this. I had some old vinyl wrap. I didn't know it was torn in some places when I put it on. It is flush. Now for the final product. There's the bracket. So the way to do it, put the rear bar first. Don't fully tighten it, give it some wiggle room. Have this, slide this back part in between the ceiling and the bar. Once that's through and this is all flushed up and stuff or whatever, tighten this up, and you can still move it forward if you need to fill in whatever gap, which you can barely see. I'm probably gonna like fill it in with like window glue or some sort of RTV, some sort of sealant, and then put your bar in here, and this thing is good to go. Now this notch right here, I know it seems really crappy, but as I said, you can always take more material off. You can never add more. So later on I'll probably just get rid of this, but like where this little like rail right here sits on both sides makes it is like perfect. So the way I did this was I just cut about halfway through this tubing and then folded this back, and then yeah, if it still was up, I can always go down more and then fold it back, or if we need to add more I can just fold this in to raise it up. So yeah, and if you guys are wondering what tube I used, this is what I used for both of them. Okay, so reinstalling all the headliner and whatnot. So I'm going to start off basically from the front back. When you do this, I recommend you guys start from the rear forward. So basically it's pretty simple. Look at everything that is mounted to the ceiling that will, by visually preventing the headliner to come off. Now the trickiest one for me, which believe it or not is actually the easiest part, was taking off this rearview mirror. So I kept trying to like, well, that's pretty easy now. It was really hard taking this plastic piece off. I'm gonna try to get it to focus here for you guys. There we go. So this plastic piece right here, I tried whatever I could to pop this off. Now it pops off pretty easy. But I didn't really want to risk damaging the headliner in here, trying to use a screwdriver to pry this off. So here's a cool trick on how this thing works. Literally grab the arm of this thing, and now you're thinking, oh crap, we just broke it. Nope. And this took me a minute to figure out too, because I'm pretty slow in the head. That little screw pops in there, and the way to get that in there is this. Okay, so here's your rearview mirror, here's the plastic piece, here's that screw still in there. Do whatever it takes, it's not that hard. Just now you can take the plastic part off, and then you'll see this. And this part, which mounts to the ceiling, you'll see this little holder thing. I don't know the name of this thing. So make sure it goes in downward like this. See it? Okay. Taking the center screw out of the rearview mirror. And then okay, flat side onto here like this. As you can see, this is concave. Get that center screw. Screw it in. Now that the plastic piece is off, you guys can get through these holes to be able to mount it to the ceiling. But I'm not going to do this yet. I got to put the headliner first and then put this over it. Okay, so for the liner, they all pop in. You guys can see, this camera has a tough time focusing, but yeah, these pop into these little clips right here. Try to find them, try to feel them out for your fingers so you're not grabbing like right here and end up accidentally like snapping this whole piece off. But yeah, they should all line up and just pop right in. In fact, I didn't even have to take all of them out. I think the only thing I had to take out was something. Actually, no, I didn't. That was just a liner. I'll show you guys that. So then this wire, I just tucked it up. This is for the, what was this for again? Oh yeah, the lighting right here, which is going to be kind of interesting because I didn't realize the whole mount was on that sunroof. That sunroof housing or whatever. I didn't know like all the mounting points were on that whole thingamajig. So I got to figure out how I'm going to do that. And then this one goes to the center dome light, which again was connected to the whole sunroof assembly. So I got to figure out how I'm going to mount that. I'm sure I'll figure something else out. And yeah, I'm going to proceed to put the headliner back on. All right, hopefully this is a good view, guys. Now, obviously, this would be the area where you would be removing it as well. So there's this little, if you guys can see it right here, there's a little thing. Looks like for a flathead screwdriver would work for it. I mean, it would. This locks it in place, but actually that doesn't matter because the housing kept this in place too. Used to be there. So yep, just tuck it in back to where they used to go. Kind of tricky. Might have to go up front now. Shred it up. Put it right on. Okay. This is where I'm waiting for the French guy from SpongeBob to narrate 4 hours later. And this will just pretty much hold the whole front in place, and then the rear gets held in by not a clip, but I'll show you. And then, oh, I didn't even notice the camera shifted down. Clip this back on, and there you go. And then everything else to put up there would be like visors if you guys so choose to. So the dome light, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna mount this thing. Actually, I got that figured out. Okay, stay tuned. So the best solution that I can come up with right now is using the existing mounting holes the bolts went to the sunroof assembly, and make like a bracket to where you get like a, you know, piece of metal or whatever just coming out the sides right here, to where you can just insert one and then try to tuck in the other one or whatever. And that's pretty much it. As of right now, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. Like, I might just do a quick 3M or Velcro, or just go from the inside on down. The problem is I can't put this housing on if I did that, so I'm trying to figure out how I can do that right now. But worst comes to worst, I'll just do it like that. Just go up from up top. All right, so I got it hooked up, kind of being held on by some 3M with Velcro tape. It's kind of ghetto, but whatever, it worked for now. I'll make a bracket when I'm going to take the actual sunroof glass off again, hopefully if I get a new one. If not, I'll probably rewrap it again. And then I actually took the sunroof cover off and got it working kind of, but it's pretty cool. I can just hide it in here and reveal everything. Tuck this trim in. I'll work on it later. Yeah, that's what you guys see. It's not on a rail or anything, so it's kind of hard to work with, but yeah, I can just tuck it underneath. It's hard doing it with one hand, that's what she said. Anyways, you guys get the idea. I can actually tuck this in underneath that rail. And yeah, I just got driver's side's pretty much patched up. Just make sure to line up all the clips in and just hit it, snap back in. Obviously, if it's not going in, then it's not lined up. So, and then yeah, just putting everything back together. So I'm gonna finish the passenger side. So just make sure to get the sun visors up, or at least get the mounting stuff on here, so this whole top piece isn't hanging down. So I gotta do the passenger side, do the grabber, and put everything back there. Oh yeah, and then rear seat belts, mount those back up, and that's pretty much about it. What is this?
This one she can move farther away.
What kind of dog are you?
Let's make sure she doesn't get caught.
Oh, she's gonna get caught. All right, everything's back together. Everything looks stock. No rear bash bar, no sunroof assembly, AC power steering delete. Overall, about 130 pounds lost. All right, that about does it, guys. I'm sorry if this video seemed a little bit out of order and kind of weird. Like I said, I wasn't really planning on making a video about this, but I figure there's a lot of work for it. I might as well document it, right? So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.